Next up is the Select Board update for the meeting that happened on Wednesday, November 18th. We started at 5:15 with an executive session due to discussion about exchange, lease, or value of real property that has to be done in executive session so that it didn't impede or affect any possible future negotiations. We did open up at 6 o'clock into our open meeting. We started with citizens participation. Not too many people participated this week. We then went into a hearing for MX Motors. They are a business on Nickerson Road, which Nickerson Road is the road that runs right next to McDonald's over on 126. This is a business that is moving from one location on Nickerson Road to a second location. They are doing the same thing. They're a used car sales company. New ownership, the son is taking it over from the husband. We went over the numbers and what it looked like, and we approved the transfer of that Class 2 license. From there, we went into a congratulations. Mark Oram, who has been our health agent for 38 years here in Ashland, has retired as of Friday, November 13th. We wished him well. He was able to talk a little bit, his statement about his time here in Ashland, and we all thanked him and congratulated him on his retirement. Fortunately, he is still involved in the city council in Marlborough, where he lives. So who knows, we may still cross paths with him in the future at some state level organization meeting. From there, we went into our consent agenda because we were ahead of our schedule. So we approved some minutes and we approved the acceptance of a resignation from the newly formed Historical Commission. We then did 2 appointments to the Ashland Cultural Council. The Cultural Council here in Ashland takes the money from the Mass Cultural Council and reviews projects and reviews grants requests into our Cultural Council, and they then give that money out to support arts and culture. Vizzy Talak, who is one of the members of the Cultural Council, was here later, will be on the show talking about some of the arts that are being created here in Ashland. So there are now 2 new members to the Cultural Council. We congratulate them for stepping up and being willing to volunteer. From there, we went into a request. Our grant program is closed because we are not receiving any new monies with the marathon not going, but we do have groups that are still in need of assistance. And so on a one-by-one basis, we do allow them to come to us and request those funds. This one was for captain's practices for the ice hockey team for Ashland. And we were able to donate $500 toward their hockey practices for the captains and all the students that are looking to try out for the hockey team. We moved into old and new business. We voted and approved the use of Chapter 149A, a CM at risk for the Mendez School building. What this means is CM at risk is a type of project manager for the building, and by allowing that to happen, certain things can still be moving forward for the Mendez project as we wait for the votes to happen in December and January on the project. And that passed. We then did a review and a vote to close and post of the December 8th special town meeting. There's probably about 10 articles, and you can find those on the website, and you can watch the full select board meeting to see the discussion on all those different articles. And I guess the thing to remember is we put them on the articles, we put them on the warrant so people can discuss and vote. These are not done deals, these are not definite things. This is where the public can have their help and participate. And we are looking at making it a very safe, open public town meeting. From there, we moved into logistics about the town meeting. So as I said, December 8th is a Tuesday night, and that will be a town meeting with about 10 articles. The warrant will be posted on the website if it's not already. It will start at 7 p.m. and we will go through the articles. Masks will be required, social distancing will be required, but we hope that you are willing to come and participate because there are some items that do need to be voted on and we can't wait until spring town meeting. We then went into our priority project list, starting with the Rail Transit District. Not too much new there. Some of the articles relate to the Trolley Brook Trail, which is over on the Rail Transit District. UGC, who is the company who is going to be building the Over 62 project, they are moving forward with their DHCD grants, where they will get funding to build affordable housing for seniors. Downtown, we applied for a second MassWorks grant to help bridge the funding gap between what we were originally given and what it's actually going to cost. Unfortunately, we did not get that MassWorks grant, so we will keep you informed as to what those costs are and how we're funding them here in town. We then talked a little bit more about our public safety building. I guess the biggest decision that has changed is we were originally gifted, or we were told we were going to be gifted a parcel of land, about 4 acres, where the public safety building is going, or where it has planned to go. And we've had difficulties working with Fafford to get that deed. After a lot of discussion and a lot of debate, it has now been decided that there is a warrant article to take the full parcel, the full 12 plus acres, by eminent domain. That has to be approved by town meeting, but that is going to be Article 5 or 6 on the town meeting warrant. So rather than just take the gift, because of difficulties in getting the deed for that gift, it has been decided that we are going to go to take by eminent domain, which means we do pay the owner of the land, but only for the value of the part that was not part of our gift. So again, find more details on the website, but that is one of the biggest discussions going on now. As well as with the public safety building, there's been a lot of discussion about the funding of that. So if you have questions, the town manager will be having some town manager forums leading up to the town meeting. So make sure you ask your questions and really understand, find and ask your own questions. Don't just believe what you read on Facebook or something else. Ask your questions, reach out to members of the public safety building, reach out to those of us on the select board, and reach out to the town manager if you have specific questions. Because unfortunately, sometimes information that gets put out is done in a negative way. From there, we talked a little bit about the Warren District and the Valentine Estate. So for the Valentine Estate, an RFP, which is a request for proposal, has gone out for people who want to come in and help maintain those buildings and turn them into some of the things that we've talked about. We've talked about an art center. We've talked about shared space. We've talked about a farm-to-table restaurant. All things that we as a town support, but we don't have funding for it. So by making it a public-private partnership, there's a possibility of those things to happen. So the request for proposal has gone out, and we're expecting stuff. We are hoping to have them back within the next week or two, and those will be reviewed by the committee, who's been doing some amazing work in coming up with what they think could happen there, based on input from the community from probably about 1.5 years ago at a forum that we had. The Warren Barn is going out for bid to have that rebuilt, and hopefully we'll start seeing that construction in the spring. From there, we went into a COVID update. Our numbers are a little bit higher, but what we're finding is it is family groups that are creating our numbers to go up. So one family might have 4 or 5 people who get COVID, so that raises our numbers. It's not that it's spread throughout the community. So if you really want more specifics, go to the website and the COVID update is there. We then had an update on the fiscal 21 budget. So we are in fiscal year 21. When we created our budget, we took money out of the stabilization fund to make sure we had the funding that we needed, which is why we have a stabilization fund. We then were promised more money from the state than we had expected. And we are in the current discussion of how do we make sure we put money back in the stabilization fund if we have it, and then use these extra funds. Part of that will also then be resolved when we go to town meeting in December with our free cash number. And again, it's not free, it's not cash, it's just the balance of our budget that we did not spend by the end of June for our fiscal year 20. And that was it. There were some updates from the board, some different events and different meetings. So we had a great night. We were done probably around 9 o'clock. So hopefully you had an opportunity to watch it. If not, you can go back. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or any of the other select board members. Thanks for watching the select board update.